So without further ado, let me bring on our guest for today, and he is none other than Peter Rogers. How are you, Pete?
Fine, thank you, Red. Thanks for inviting me on. And hi, everybody. And looking forward to having a chat. And we can go from there.
Fantastic. As always, me and Pete have been together for an awful long time, way before OnPassive, and many of you will know who he is. You've probably seen him many times on many streams. He's been part of OnPassive for an awful long time, and we'll get into that in a moment. But mostly what we want to do within the chair is to get to know the people that we see on the screen on a regular basis. Let's get into details about who these people really are. So let's start off then, Pete. Give a little bit of background about yourself from those early days. What's your hobbies, what you like doing, and your working life that you've done.
Yeah, okay. Well, obviously, my name's Peter Rogers, and I come from the UK, from Herefordshire. Originally, I came from a little small village called Ombersley. I've got two brothers. I've got a twin brother, Paul, and I've got an older brother, Stephen. They're in the business. They're involved with OnPassive as well. Not as forefront as I am as such, but they are involved. You know, obviously I left school at 16, and I became a butcher. I went and worked in a local butcher shop, and in fact, my mother got me the job. I was still at school, and they were advertising for a new apprentice at the butcher's, and she applied for me. And I come home from school the one day, and my mother said, "I got you a sausages job down at Checkets of Ombersley, where we were, you know, in Ombersley." And I went down there on a Saturday, and I ended up spending 15 years there, and ended up being a butcher, and became a fully skilled butcher. And then obviously many years later, after 15 years, I decided I wanted to obviously have my own business. I mean, I'm from a family of entrepreneurs. My father was in business. My brothers are in business as well, and we've always sort of tried to, I suppose, better ourselves. You know, move forward and better ourselves. And you know, I had the opportunity of obviously being a butcher, and a butcher shop came up in another village called Clifton-on-Team, and that's where I met Red. And you know, and I had that shop there then for many years, and I've gone from there, obviously from being a butcher onto I moved on to other businesses. But in the butchery trade, I've had 4 or 5 different butchers, I suppose, in different areas, all been successful. And now I actually run a big convenience shop. But obviously, you know, it's been a journey. It's you know, you have to put a lot of effort in, and it's like with any business, you have the ups and downs of any business. And you know, and that's where I sort of am at the moment with a small convenience shop. Hobby-wise, you know, on the journey, I became involved in martial arts. I'm black belt taekwondo, black belt fourth dan, and I'm an instructor as well, although I've sort of taken a sort of a back seat. And although I've started training again, because I've been in business in my convenience shop, took a lot of my time, so I couldn't put the energy into my hobbies. And obviously, you know, it's been what, 5, 6 years since I started. I came out of training, and I've been back now about 6 months. Back training again, and I've got a fantastic instructor, lady instructor, in fact, very, very good. And you know, we get on really well, and I'm getting myself back to the fitness again. And then obviously I've had a bit of a shock over the last few weeks, well, last month or so, as Red knows. Probably talk a little bit about that later on. But back to you, Red. You know, if you want to answer some questions.
Fantastic, Pete. It's always good to know a little bit of background about people that we see on screen on a regular basis, like yourself. And you've been an avid part of OMP now for an awful long time, the same time as me, in fact, from late September, early October of 2018. So apart from me telling you to join OnPassive back then, what was the reason, or what was the things that you saw in OnPassive that you liked, excited you back in 2018?
Okay, well, let's just go a little bit back, a little bit before we got involved in OnPassive. I mean, you know, like I've obviously explained, I had 4 or 5 different businesses, and it was, you know, the job. It's a job, you know. Although you own your own business, you're self-employed. It's a 24/7 hour job, and I was, you know, at that time I was looking for something that was going to be sort of beneficial to me, my family, and I was looking for something like financial freedom, you know, and that's how come I got involved online. You know, I got involved. I thought, you know, you see these different platforms, and that's where I've known Red for many years. He was involved in a platform, and I sort of got in contact with Red and picking his brains because I was sort of looking for something that could give me that extra income, that would give me that financial freedom. And we all look for that, you know, the laptop lifestyle. And you know, as I said, you know, I was just looking for something different and something else that's going to give me that extra income. You know, I wanted to be successful. You know, when you're younger, you do want to be successful, and you know, you do look to better yourself. And I was sort of open-minded to obviously look at different things online. And as I said, I got with Red, and he was involved in the business, and ended up sort of going with Red, and we've been together ever since, really. But we've had a lot of ups and downs. And but obviously when Red introduced OnPassive to me, it was a phone call, and it basically just was a phone call. Yeah. And he said, I've just seen this business, looks pretty good. I don't know much about it. Here's the link. It's only 70 quid or whatever it was at the time, so 80 quid. And, you know, just register and we'll go on from there. And that's all I did. I hadn't listened to any information. I didn't know anything about OnPassive. I got involved because of the trust I had in Red, because I've known Red, you know, many years. And I registered, and, you know, I sort of went on from there. And, you know, in the beginning, I think Red won't mind, but I think I was a bit more engaged at the beginning than Red was, because Red was very engaged with other things we were involved in. I was going on to some of the webinars with Ash Mafara, and I was saying to Red, you know, this thing, well, I think we ought to look at this a little bit more and get involved in this, because anyway, Red obviously got involved in it and understood more about it, and, you know, and he is what he is today. And but it was the interest with me with OnPassive was a lot of it in the beginning went over my head. You know, like with Ash, he talks, and, you know, a lot of it goes over your head, but it was the excitement in his voice and the conviction that he had and what he wanted to do. That's what got me. You know, I thought, this guy is definitely something, you know, he's serious about what he's trying to do here. And, you know, and that's what really got me hooked in, first of all. And obviously, as time has progressed and OnPassive is the way it is now, I mean, you know, OnPassive is different to what it was back 2018. Yeah, it was 2018 when I got involved. And it's a different, you know, it's a different business now. But, you know, that was the initial start of it for me, with the excitement of a CEO and the way he was. And, you know, and I just sort of got involved. And then obviously I got Marty. I spoke to Marty DeGarmo. He contacted me, and he really got involved with it. And, you know, combined all of us together with yourself, you know, Red, Marty, and the other leaders, Mike Ellis and all them, because of the excitement they were involved in it, it brought a lot of excitement for me, because I thought, well, these guys will know what they're talking about. You know, like Marty's been online for years, really, while before me and Red got involved in online. You know, like, you know, he said before, he's been involved 20 years plus. And, you know, so I learned a lot from Marty as well as Red. And so you know, it sort of glued me in because of everybody's excitement around me. And this is what about OnPassive is. It's about family. We are all family. We all know each other. And, you know, and that's basically got me glued in. You know, back to you, Ed, you know.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, those early days of OnPassive are, quite frankly, a million miles away from where we are now. I mean, you remember when we first joined, the word OnPassive wasn't even there. It was just an idea, and it literally was an idea that Ash Mufareh had of what he was trying to achieve back in that, which was marketing platform, and then obviously moving into what we are seeing more and more of today. But we had to actually physically either text or ring Ash Mufareh up if we had any new founders in those days wanting to join. He put them on a spreadsheet and you got given a number, and that went on until the November of 2018, when we had our first video webinar where we actually saw Ash Mufareh, and he was laying out his vision and what the name of the company was going to be called. And then, if you remember, November, back end of November, beginning of December is when we had our platform of GoFounders in those days, and that really was the start of everything. And I can remember having, me and Pete, we talk all the time anyway now, and we talked all the time back then. And I can remember both of us saying, if we can get to 100 people in our organization by then, we're going to be really, really happy. And that was what I can remember, that, Pete. That was where we were. And for everyone else, it was Christmas, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, oh, if we get 100
100
in our organization, and of course, you know, that was back in 2018, and you know,
and by the way, we did. Yeah, by the way, we did get to over 100 by then. Just to let everybody know out there, by the way, that I recruited Pete into my organisation, but he really has done such a fantastic job of so many people that you know involved in OnPassive. And I can tell you now that within his organisation, he has Victor Gumbaladi, Chris as well. Aloma, is it? I can't remember what Chris's surname is, but he was on the leaderboard. Marty DeGarmo, Dan Street, Mike Ellis, Daryl Cook. All these people are within mine and Pete's organisation. So in those early days, it really was so important to introduce OnPassive to people that you knew. And now look at where these guys are. It's great to see. It's great to see not only these people doing well, but also this guy who's in the chair today. He might be not as prolific as we all are, but that's by his choice. But he certainly is very prominent in OnPassive. Everybody knows him. He writes extremely well with his posts that he does, but he's also got a busy life, guys. And running his external business to OnPassive does take an awful lot of resources in time, energy, and he's got a young family that needs to be looked after as well. So for those of us who have the time to dedicate more of the hours of the day to OnPassive, that's because we're not working as hard as this guy in the chair is. So, Pete, obviously that you've told us your story about your interests and your hobbies and what you do, and obviously meeting me and OnPassive and all the rest of it. Tell us a little bit about what you are looking to take out of OnPassive as far as the future is concerned.
Well, the goal is obviously we all got involved with OnPassive for the money. There's no, you know, you can't take that away from it. And obviously that's secondary now to what, you know, we want to earn money, but there's a lot of other things now that's obviously come in the picture, and what we can do and what we can share. And I mean, you know, for me, I've got a young family. I've got my son. I've got a daughter as well, and I want to make sure that they're financially secure. And and there's obviously a lot of things that I want to do outside of OnPassive to do with the homeless that we've talked about. With there's a lot to do that we've got to sort of what we can do if we had the income, and until we get the income, then we can obviously share. I want to share that income to obviously help other people, and that's basically what we're all what we're here to do, and that's what I'm here to do anyway. That's how I feel. Sorry, Reddy, I'm a bit lost now. You threw me a bit with your question.
No, don't. I don't mean to throw you, but obviously it's always nice to try and listen to what people's goals are as far as see the monetary side of things. Ash has always taught us to fill our tanks first, to go out and help within the community. And I was just asking, and you've answered it fantastically, what you would like to do, obviously when your tank is full, and I think you've done that very well. And
there's a lot of things I want to do.
Oh, sorry.
There's a lot of things I want to do. I mean, obviously, once we get going, with the OnPassive, once the business starts to roll forward, as you know, I was part of obviously setting up the events in the UK, and I want to be part of doing that again, and going forward, and basically getting people involved with OnPassive, getting them to see the bigger picture, getting them to share the volume of the money that could be coming in, what they want to do, and help their charities and all that. So I want to be part of what we're doing, and it's something that I'm really sort of excited about to do and look forward to doing. Back to you, Red.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Now, we all know that Ash Maffei's and the company have been having an awful lot of challenges over the last few months or so, but you've had your own challenges in life as well over the last couple of months with the news you got. I'm not pushing you to tell us about it, but if you want to just say a few words a little bit about it, and really what I want to we're trying to ask here is how you're mentally coping with it, and how you are looking forward to the future.
Well, many years ago, I had the story is many years ago I had a disease of the stomach called ulcerative colitis, and basically I ended up having a good part of my stomach removed, and that was in between running my businesses, being involved in martial arts, and I want to say about that as well. That really affected my life because, as I said, having half my stomach removed, I was told that I shouldn't be doing martial arts. I shouldn't be being involved in that because of how delicate the situation was. I had sort of 12 months off from doing the martial arts, and I actually went back and still started training. And it's about perseverance. About I persevered with myself. I was sort of positive about what happened, and obviously what I've got, it did affect my life, and it has affected my life from then till now. Now, about 5 weeks ago, I had a blockage over. I had a meal and I had a blockage, and so it happens sometimes when you have, what I've had half my stomach. I had a bit of a stomach blockage, and normally it clears itself, but this particular time it never cleared, and I ended up being rushed into hospital. And while I was in hospital, the actual blockage dissipated and cleared itself. But while I was there in the hospital over the few days and they're trying to sort me out, they did a CT scan and they found a cancer growth on my kidney, and which was obviously a big shock to me. And it's something that obviously, when they mention the word cancer, it's a bit of a, it's a bit of a shock.
It is a shock, yeah.
And you are, it's took the wind out of my sails over the last 4 or 5 weeks. I mean, you sort of read about it, but to be fair, the best thing to do is not read about it because you can hear someone else's story, But I've spoken to the specialist, and basically I've got to have an operation. They're going to remove the growth from the kidney, and because they think they've caught it early enough, it's going to be dealt with, and it'd be removed, and I should have, shouldn't have any more issues from that and going forward. But it's obviously frightening, but you've got to you don't want to focus too much on it. You've got to move forward with your life, and that's what I'm trying to do. And it's a bit of a shock, and and I'm just.
Do you think it's? Do you think having this news has helped you refocus your life a little bit as well?
Yeah, it does. Obviously, you do refocus. But I know because I spoke to you about it, and your mother had the same issue. You don't mind me saying, and your mother had the operation and had it removed, and she's fine. And that was 10 years ago. Well, basically, hopefully that's what's going to happen to me. They're just going to remove it, and I'm going to move on with my life. But like with, you do focus on it because you think all I've done is work. If you know what I mean, I've worked and worked and worked, and I wanted a bit of enjoyment in my life. And so I'm hoping that I'm going to have another 20 years in front of me, and I'm going to enjoy the fruits of my labour when we move forward, and we can go on.
Well, I'm sure, Pete, that you will. You're a great guy as far as business is concerned. You know your things, and I've seen his butcher shops, I've seen his convenience shops, and everything that he does, he works so hard to make sure that they are successful, including his OnPassive business. He really has tirelessly worked behind the scenes to make himself as prominent as he wants to within OnPassive. And I think everyone here will agree, it really is nice to get to know Peter Rogers a little bit better, not just a face on the screen. So thanks, Pete. It's been fantastic.